Incoming transmission from Vice Admiral Richard Sams, Regional Coordinator Region 20, SFI.
Command codes verified.
Good evening, Region 20. A very warm welcome to you all. Bit concerned there. I didn't hear the audio on the intro video, which worries me slightly. But there you go. Well, hopefully, we are live and you can hear us. Anyone out there, if you can hear us, please send a comment so we know we're just not talking to ourselves. And I'll hold off until someone says.
We got John and Jess in the chat.
Audio's great. Thank you very much, Jess. Right, in that case, then I will introduce and say a very warm welcome to Fleet Captain Philip Gilfuss, my VRC, who is joining me this evening. Good evening, Philip.
Good evening, Admiral. Good to hear
I can't hear you either. That's weird. It must be a problem at my end. So we'll carry on. People can hear me. I just can't hear anyone else, which is bizarre. So I might just play safe.
It's another smooth Region 20 production.
You want to try saying something, Philip?
Hello.
Oh, it's definitely a problem at my end. Right, found the problem.
Boost your signal. Narrow that confinement beam.
Right, try that.
All right. How about now?
Yes. Do you remember I said, I'll try my Bluetooth headphones, and then I said I didn't have charging them. My opening the case would appear to have been enough for them to have connected. Marvelous. Anyway, right, it's all good now. Yes. Oh no, it's not gremlins in the computer. It's the idiot. It's the absolutely 100% operator error is what the problem is here. But anyway,
right now by next month.
Yeah, be fine. Yeah, wait till the 1st of March, and it'll get a lot better. Mind you, having seen that, I've seen his video today, and I know he has as much trouble with computer gremlins as I appear to have. Right, we'll try it again. God, that's the involves. Oh, well done, Lynn. That's a good one. Right, a very warm welcome once again. I can see everyone. I can now hear everything that's going on, which is always a good part. God, everything's gone bananas. Right, here we are. So, a warm welcome to Nothing Formal, the penultimate one, which does indicate that I'm committing to do at least one more of these before I finish in office in a little over 4 weeks' time. Essentially, what's going to happen for this evening is that Philip's going to take a bit more of the lead and he's going to ask me some bits and pieces, and I'll answer as truthfully as I feel able to do so.
Hooking up the straps.
The
electrodes that we talked about.
Yeah. Fill up a bit of time. I could shut them up and plug them in. The chance of them working based on the evening so far is minimal, isn't it, really? But there we go. So over to you, Philip.
Sure. Yeah, I think this is it's sort of a great time as Rich is getting ready to leave office as RC, just a chance to reflect, because not only him, I mean, of course, we want to celebrate him in his time, but it's also a chance of reflection for Region 20, which in the grand scheme of things is not that old, in the organization. So I just had a few questions to go over with Rich, and then we can get into some regional exciting business that we have going on, because while this team is leaving, Region 20 is going at 100 miles per hour. So there's lots to talk about. So, so first of all, let's just get down to the basic information. So for those who don't know, and I know we have a lot of experienced folks in the chat here, but when did you start as RC? And how would you describe both the region and SFI? I know it was like back in the dark ages, but even a few years ago, a lot has gone on.
Yeah. So I will have completed 8 years as RC, so that makes it
I know, Rolf.
20. Yeah, it's confused the heck out of me trying to work it backwards, but it's 8 years.
So
And
97?
no,
I mean
20
2007. Sorry,
2007.
you said
Yeah,
17. Sorry.
yeah. No, not even that. That would be too long. 8 years, Lord. 17, something like that,
Yeah.
or 16, something like that. Yeah. What gets ever so confusing is the situation now is that the elections are always run for us in the November, December, but then the the winner of it doesn't take office until the following March. So it just confused. Lindsay's worked out 2017 it was. And what was it like? But well, we were smaller. We were a lot smaller. While we had still, I think we had 9 or 10 chapters. The numbers on the chapters were smaller, and there were lots of reasons for that. Not least of all the fact that SFI subs back then were a lot more. There was only one style of membership, which was you paid $15 a year, and that got you a hard copy membership certificate and a membership card, and then 4 copies of the CQ. Except it didn't always. So not long after, I think it was the year after I took office, they brought in the AB voted in, and we brought in the shift to the current membership style, which is essentially it's all online. You know, everything's online, and it was reduced. But we still had, well, everyone in Region 20 who was still owed their paper packet. So I remember one summer, and it was the summer of, it was 2017, 2018. I spent a good couple of months. I just got everything sent over, and I sorted out printing, getting stuff printed and posted out from over here so that people got what they were entitled to. So it is much easier now. So yeah, so that was it. I think it would be fair to say we were a lot more isolated back then. While we had Facebook, we had the internet and stuff. No one really did stuff like this. AB calls back then were still done on a voice conference line, albeit an internet-based one, but it was a voice conference line. Lots of bits like that. So it was a bit different. It was very easy for us to feel that we were the forgotten relative who lives over there somewhere, you know, miles away.
Oh goodness. So I mean, so since 2017, like you said, it's been 8 years. So what? I mean, this could be from you or from your teams, because I know they've had a few in the past 8 years. But what do you think are the biggest differences you've made, or y'all have made? I mean, I don't know if I can include myself in the past 8 years for the region.
Without a doubt, presence. Region 20 has a really big, really positive presence in Fleet that we didn't have back then. I always made it very clear whenever it came up for re-election as RC, my emphasis was always that my primary role was not to run the region, because that's not what a good RC does. A good RC supports chapters in running the region, because it's this whole model. It's the way SFI works. It's like a reverse pyramid thing. If you don't have chapters, you don't need a region. And that took a lot of time to get people to realize that, yeah, I'm here and run stuff. And it does make sense to streamline and run some stuff from the region, because then all the chapters can get the benefit of it without 10, 12, 14 chapters having to do the same thing in slightly different ways. But yeah, no, the big thing I think is the presence, pushing out and saying, no, we are here. No, we won't put up with that. Silly things like one of the big things I've banged the drum about for years, and it still needs banging occasionally, is certificate sizes. It seems daft. But the default is foolscap or letter size, which is the default paper size in the US. I pushed and argued that actually pretty much everywhere else, apart from the US and Canada, certainly all of Region 20, all of Region 9, I think Region 11, most everywhere else uses A4 as the default. So people are getting awards. They're okay with it coming on email, but when they go and print it, it won't print correctly because it's the wrong size. So offer them as an A4 size as well. Things like that. So it pushed through. We did a lot of pushing through that. And I like to think as well, what happened was when people could see, actually, do you know what? Fleet does recognise Region 20 is there and it has a lot to offer. Then other people from the region stepped up to do things. So, you know, I won't take all the credit. I pushed. I had very good teams all the way through from the start right until now that would help me to help the chapters to push through. But we've also had some fantastically enthusiastic people across the region who've got involved at a whole range of things across Fleet, but always emphasizing I'm X from Region 20.
Awesome. So kind of in that vein, and this is two questions that are kind of the same question, but like, what surprised you most about being RC? You know, you saw it from afar, you stood for it, but then, you know, being in the seat is always different than looking at it. But what surprised you most? And then maybe this goes with it too. What do you wish you had known or someone had told you before you took over?
Right. Okay. Yeah. The big thing there that I wish I'd been more aware of at the time is the absolute duality of the role. It's not just you are Region 20's rep on the Admiralty Board. You are, don't get me wrong, you're there to think about what it is. And this is definitely evolved during my time to a much better position. As an RC, you are a member of the board. You are a legally responsible director of the corporation. So therefore, you do have to have a dual hat. You have to look at anything that comes up to the AB as, will this benefit my members? Will my members see this as a positive? But you also have to have a very large part of what's good for the organization. And sometimes those two things can be in conflict. So, you know, you can think about it and think, ultimately, I would say no, but I'm going to have to say yes from the point of view of the organization and vice versa. And you do get into it, and it's, as I said, it's actually been made easier because of the way that the AB now runs, this current administration. This is a big thing, I think, where both David and Ryan have come from being RCs. They get it. And so, you know, you use the AB, or the AB is given the opportunity to work effectively because that focus is there. But yeah, I would definitely say that's the thing I wish I'd known. I'd been clearer in my own mind when I started. Is that need to, sometimes it's the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Thankfully not of the one. It's been the many versus the few, but no more granular than that.
Well, that's a lot about the business and the serious side of being RC, which is obviously very important. But like you yourself, Rich, this sounds like I'm being accusatory here. What makes you such a big Star Trek fan? And what makes you, I mean, you have been in SFI many years, you've been RC, you do a bunch of other things, promotions director, you've done quartermaster stuff. I mean, now currently that's what you do, and you've done a bunch of stuff before. But like, what keeps you so dedicated to Star Trek that makes you so dedicated to a fan club about Star Trek?
Fine. It's right, it's much easier to explain this having this will creep into what we're going to talk about a bit later on as well. It's much easier to explain why you want to keep involved with the fan club when you meet fellow members. So at events, summits, IC, done all of them, and you bounce off of that. And so for me, it was always a case of I had a lifelong enthusiasm about Star Trek. As a kid, remember seeing reruns of the original series. It was on BBC Two at 6 o'clock on Thursdays. Always hated it being on BBC Two at 6 o'clock, because if ever anything better came along, that 6 o'clock slot got bounced. So it always got bounced when Wimbledon was on. It always got bounced in the summer when the cricket was on. And bearing in mind, this is back in the day when there were 3 channels on British TV: BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV. That was it. Bounced over when I was a bit slightly older, when TNG came out, and I have memories, very fond memories there of pooling pocket money with my brother and one of my friends, and over the summer holidays we would pool pocket money so that over the summer holidays we would go to the our local Blockbuster, and it was a Blockbuster as well, and rent VHS cassettes of TNG. It was. Do you remember that there was always 2 episodes on one VHS? Remember them, and then the one for me, which is why it still is my favourite, and I know it's one of the most controversial series. My dear friend Scott Peter refers to it as the supermarket in space, but my all-time favourite is DS9, because that was the first franchise I saw from the start. First one that I was there when it started. I was watching Trek, and it's having these conversations just like that. And what do you like about this one? What do you like about that one? And I like Voyager because it went back to being able to do what TOS done. It could introduce us to new races, because no one could say, oh, that's a cop off, because no one had been in the Delta Quadrant before. So all those sort of things you can mix up and match, and then the new Trek stuff. So it's doing that, and then being able to talk about that with other people, and especially in the last few years, certainly since COVID, being able to be at an event where you can talk to the people that you've spoken to like this online, whether video or just an online chat, through Facebook or Discord or whatever else we're using, to actually meet those people face to face and have those properly nuanced conversations, because you get the whole body language thing and all that stuff. And that's what's kept me enthused and involved with supporting SFI and the region, because I've seen how the region's grown, how we've got better at doing things, how we're better at meeting with one another, and so I've been happy to serve, because I've got as much out of it as I hope others have.
Yeah, I don't know if this was on the VHS tapes. I think it was, but it's one of those things that I think is lost because it's not on Blu-rays or YouTube or anything. You used to have, for TNG at least, you used to have like, coming up on another exciting episode of TNG.
Yes, yeah.
On the next episode, you don't get those teasers on the Blu-rays or when you're binging anymore. But I'm sure we're on the VHSs.
They were absolutely, yeah.
Well, this is something I hadn't written down, but you mentioned it. I'm sure the answer is yes. So I want to make this more not other than a yes or no question, but I'll ask it this way. Do you think, and this can be either SFI, region, chapters, however level you think, are we still, as an organization, recovering from COVID? Like, do you think there was a big change and people are still getting back? Or do you think there wasn't that big of an effect? I mean, other than not meeting in person, obviously, but do you think we've moved on as far as an organization, as far as from COVID?
I think we've developed. I think a bit of a watershed last year there was an in-person IC again. And for us as a region, I think Destination Trek last year was really good, but the summit this year will be another watershed where it sort of feels like we've gone back to where we were, but we haven't, because there's now an absolute, well, no, at the summit in May, no, there will be stuff streamed. There will be bits streamed. That's a given. Whereas I remember at the last one, we managed to cobble up using, I can't remember how, I think we used it I think we did it via Facebook Live. We cobbled together to be able to run enough to be able to present when we did the regional awards. That bit we did on Facebook Live at the same time, and that was quite new at the time. The one before that, but last time we were in Edinburgh, we did a proper old-fashioned link up. It was like it was likened to the Eurovision Song Contest, because we did. Now it must have been on Zoom. I honestly can't remember how we did it, but we linked up. We were in Edinburgh, and in the Saturday evening, we linked up with the Cuchulainn, who were having one of their parties at the Teachers Club in Dublin, and with the Liberty Bell. And it was hello Dublin. This is Edinburgh calling. It was like all we were missing was scores, but that was really clunky. It's got better, and it will stream through. So I think we've evolved. Skype, thank you, Ailey. It would have been Skype. Of course, it would have been. See, that's how old it was. Yeah, it was Skype. It was absolutely. So yeah, we've evolved. Yeah, we are still coming back, but I think there is a real shift. We won't go back to what it was before, and in some respects, I'm really pleased about that, because what it was before was, well, if you're there, you'll know what goes on, and if you weren't, tough. You should have been there, and that attitude has changed, which I'm really pleased about. It's now a case of we will do all we can to link you in. Now, if we can't do it live, what we will do is we'll make sure we record it, and then we'll play it back as soon as we can afterwards, so that you see it almost live. And it's a balance, but yeah, I think we are. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some chapters who haven't got over COVID, and it's a real shame. When chapters who were doing so well at actually physically meeting pre-COVID, and then for whatever reason, people adapted during lockdown as they needed to. Not everyone could cope with it. Well, not everyone had the tech or the ability to do a lot of online stuff, and so some people have just got lost. And that is not unique to SFI at all. As most people know, my other big hobby is Freemasonry, and there are lots of lodges in the UK and across the world, but certainly in the UK, that have suffered the same thing. People stopped coming because we couldn't meet, and they just haven't come back. And so I think it's about learning how you adapt and pull out all the best bits of what you used to do beforehand, which is mainly meeting up, but mixing in the new bits you've learned at the same time.
All right. Well, speaking of best bits, let's hit highlights and lowlights, or challenging lights. So I'm sure you have many, but as RC, what is the highlight, or if you can't think of just one, what are the top two highlights of your time as RC?
Yeah, I checked it was still around. Where is it? I've got to find it now. And this all. Oh, it's only come up as a little thing in the corner.
I see. 2020 con.
2020 con, and that was the logo we did for it. That, without a doubt, is the highlight for me. So for that, if you're not aware, because nothing formal came out of COVID. Borrowed the idea from Steve Palmery, the then CS, was doing these online things, and so I started doing them. And then people were saying, it's a shame, missing the conventions, because we'd had a summit in 2019 at Windsor. People were saying, I really missed that. I was looking forward to doing something again. Oh, Mr. Peter, good evening. And so I said, well, why don't we do something? And I had a crazy idea. I was very, very lucky to have a whole bunch of people, but two main people who were as absolutely stark raving bonkers as me. And that was Robbie O'Brien from the Cuchulainn and Erica Smith from the Appleton. And I messaged them both on Monday or Tuesday. I said, I've got crazy. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we could do some sort of like online convention one weekend? You know, could we do it over a weekend? And they went, okay, fine, right. Well, we'll sort this out. We talked about it on the Monday and we ran it from the Friday. It was that bang done. But it was a solid weekend of stuff. We had people running quizzes. Cheryl Nicholson from the Merlin kicked us off. She ran a quiz on the Friday night. We did it. It was all done as a mixture of this, StreamYard and Zoom. She did a quiz on the Friday night. Someone else did something on the Friday night. Erica did something on the Friday night. Saturday, we had panel sessions with, I can't remember her name, lady who's made costumes for quite a few of us, including me. She's made some Star Trek uniforms for me. Different panels, bits and pieces. The highlight was Robbie managed by Hook and by Crook. We had a couple of, I know Scott mentioned DS9, the shopping centre in space. We had 2 wonderful hours with Doug Drexler. Oh, and we could have had 22 hours with Doug. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely brilliant. We did a marine muster, loads of stuff. And then on the Sunday morning, we had more stuff. Jonathan East from the Cuchulainn did this fantastic thing on props and maker stuff. Karen, thank you, Adi. That was it. Karen was the name of the costume maker. And it was a fantastic weekend. And it, like everything else, it pulled loads of people in from across the region to help with stuff. We ran a big online raffle thing, raised loads of money, which was all then split between mental health charities to emphasize the focus on that. So absolutely, without a doubt, that was the highlight for me, was being able to pull that together to give people, and we got some absolutely lovely comments about it from across fleet, because of course we had people dialing in from everywhere to do it, just to say how much they enjoyed the weekend. Don't get me wrong, it was interesting. I never left my office at all that weekend, other than to eat, sleep, and go to the loo. But by the end of it, I felt as wiped out as if I'd been at a physical con all weekend. The only thing I didn't end up with, thankfully, was I didn't get any con crud. I didn't get a cold, or
That's true.
Didn't get any of that. Mainly because I'd not been near anyone.
What you were trying to avoid, the whole point of it, right?
Yeah. No, but that, without the doubt, was the high. That was the high. The low, and you think about, well, without trying to go through rose tinted glasses, the low was woke up, and I'm sure it was on a Monday, so that always makes it worse when it happens on the Monday. And there were emails from 2 or 3 of the COs. And bear in mind, at the time, I was RC, but I was also CO of the Merlin at the time. And it was these COs all forwarding the same email to me, going, "Rich, this is bang out of order. I notice you've not been copied in on it." Long story short, it was the then Fleet Chief of Ops had decided to write to all of the COs in Region 20, except me as the CO of the Merlin, to say, I think your IC's running like a bit of a dictator. So here's how you could do a vote of confidence to vote him out.
Mutiny.
Yeah.
Insurrection.
The flip, though, from that was the lowest point. But the positive from it, always feel the positive from it, was those emails from those 3 emails I woke up to from COs, which were then joined by emails from other COs throughout the day going, "This is bang out of order." And then seeing their replies back to this guy going, get bent. How I think how dare you was the phrase that was used in one of them. I do remember one of the CEOs who is on this, who is commenting, who's on this call, said they never felt that they would be invited to be party to Cardassian, a trial along Cardassian lines, where the guilt of the defendant had already been predetermined. So yeah, it was a real. You think, well, why should I give up my time to do this when this is all I'm getting back? But then, so the really good flip side of it was the overwhelming support from the CEOs of the region to just shut this down within 48 hours. Really, yeah.
Awesome. Now, I mean, in the few positions I've held in SFI, there's always a lot of hidden work or behind the scenes stuff, and things that either the general membership or even certain leaders, depending upon your position, just don't know about the region or SFI. So are there any hidden gems or invisible work that goes on all the time, or that you've discovered that you want to highlight that you've seen as RC?
Oh, that absolutely everyone who served on my staff over the past 8 years has played a part in doing just that. There's absolutely no way you could run as RC successfully if you try and do everything. My main aim was always to keep the business stuff, the boring stuff, the real life stuff, the finance, unfortunately we had to have a meeting about throwing this person out. My aim's always been to keep that to within the COs. So for those who don't know, we have a Facebook group, and we have the Region 20 Admiralty Board. This was set up when I first joined. Different regions call it different things. They'll have a captain's table, they'll have a CO's forum, as has always been the Regional Admiralty Board. So that's all of the COs and the XOs from the ships, plus my senior team. So at the minute, that's Philip and Michelle as my two VRC and Chief of Staff. And so I've always tried to keep all the businessy stuff in there, so that what goes out on the rest of social media and stuff is hopefully the more positive stuff, the fun bits. Really, that's always the aim. But it can be a fine balance. And that's one of the pros and the cons of social media stuff. Is that it's very easy to put stuff out there. It's not so easy to try and claw it back in if it's the wrong thing, or sends out the wrong message unintentionally or intentionally, depending.
Speaking of invisible stuff or things that people may not know, a bit of a softball question, but I think it's still something important. As RC, and I'm just being in the Region 20, but especially as RC, what makes Region 20 unique? I mean, as someone who's been in another region, I mean, I always say there's lots of stuff that people don't even realize they take for granted in Region 20. That's not universal by any means. But what do you think makes R20 unique?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So many things there. I'd have to say this will sound very strange, but people get it. Region 20's sense of humour. And it's interesting because that transcends the 5 countries that make up the region. It's a very ill-fitting phrase, but what the Americans call that British sense of humour. But that ironic, that's a better word. The ironic sense of humour that is people in Ireland and the UK are sort of known for. and to a degree, that ability to be able to laugh at ourselves, certainly the ability to be able to laugh at our colonial cousins. But so there's that. There is the ability for the region wants to work together. Yeah, there have been a few noticeable occasions when people might clash, but as a whole, the region wants to work together. And I know that definitely doesn't happen in every other region. There are other regions where it's very definitely, well, there's us and then there's them. So there's that. And I think as well, Region 20's, or the willingness of the members of Region 20 to get stuck in. I mean, I was trying to think earlier on, I mentioned about people taking on more roles. So I think if you take the auxiliaries, for example, medical as it is now is solely down to Mark Logan and Pip Slack. I helped doing some bits in the background, but Mark as Surgeon General and Pip as his deputy, that's why we've got the medical auxiliary we have now that's actually doing good stuff. We've got people involved in sciences, in pet fleet, in tactical, and the Marines are slightly different. We've always had a presence in the Marines because we have a brigade, but I think we're solidly represented in all of the auxiliaries, and that to me is one of the defining things of Region 20, is that people in the region want to embrace the extra bits that SFI offers, and the auxiliaries now are the best they've ever been. They're no longer just a thing that you do if you want to dress up differently, and because you don't really want to follow the rules, you have to make up your own club within a club. The auxiliaries now, to my mind, actually now offer some fantastic additional benefits. Mr. Logan, good evening. Oh, they popped up there. It's that for me. It's that Region will get up and give it a go. More so, I think, than some other places. And I think really we bat well above our weight for the sheer number of us. All right, yeah, we're the largest, and we have been for a hell of a long time. We are the largest international region by far. And it fluctuates a bit, but for quite a while, we were the second largest region in fleet.
Yeah, I don't even use the international. I just say
yeah. But it's always been that willingness, and what's I'm going to stop because I know what your next question is going to be. I would have gone straight into that if I don't. I'll shush them. It's okay. The people. That's what makes Region 20 unique.
Yeah, just two more questions because we have other exciting stuff other than this interview. Simple question: what will you miss most about being RC?
Being able to say on Region 20's RC because the people are so damn brilliant. That's why I stopped, because I was going to go straight into that, and then I looked down at the list and see what the next question was. No, absolutely that. It will be oh wow, you from Region 20? Yes, I am, and I've never been embarrassed to say I'm from Region 20.
And then another simple question: what's next?
If you'd asked me this a month ago, I'd have said it's fine. I'm going to carry on being promotions director for a bit, and then we'll see whatever. But so all these things, as soon as people hear you giving up one thing, now you're not doing that anymore. Would you consider? So there's something I've been asked to look at, and I'm not trying to be all mysterious, but I can't say any more than that because it's not public knowledge, and also it's a case of, and quite rightly, because this is something I always insisted in and banged on for a long time at Fleet. It's someone's asked me to consider another role, but they can't just give me the job. I would have to apply via HR and go through. So it might be that even if I did apply, I might not get it. But I've been asked to look at something, and I'm having a look and considering whether I think I will put in for it when I finish.
It doesn't come with like a black badge or anything shadowy, right?
No.
Okay.
Well, even if it did, I couldn't possibly tell you. Yeah.
Oh no.
No, but mostly I'm just really looking forward to seeing how the region continues to grow, develop, and get better. I've enjoyed my time as RC, thoroughly enjoyed my time as RC, but I have absolutely no qualms about stopping now. Philip will know. I let all of the Admiralty board know last June, something like that, wasn't it? That I wasn't. When it came round to the elections, I wasn't going to stand for re-election. I'd sort of made the decision for that. I thought I'd taken the role as far as I confidently felt I could take it, and I think the time is absolutely right for a new focus. And I'm not going to say a new direction, because I think the direction that Region 20 is in is absolutely brilliant. We just need to carry on pushing down there. We just need a change in a tune up and a change of how we project to the rest of the fleet and the wider Trek fandom just how awesome Region 20 is.
Well, speaking of great things, you and I, and not just you and I, regional staff and other leaders have the privilege of starting something. There are two big things that we're going to talk about that other people will get to see the end of. But I'm going to turn it over to you so we can talk about those exciting things going on in Region 20 in 2025.
Yes. So two main things coming up. Regional awards. So if you may have, I'm hoping you are aware of this from your CO. If not, then I'd make no bones about mentioning it. We're just about launching the regional awards process. Don't forget, we always do it year about. So what we're focusing on is all the awesome things that everyone did in 2024. First stage of that is pulling together a regional awards team. So Marie Smith, who's our current chief of awards, is reminded all the COs and XOs today. Please, every chapter is asked to provide a rep, and this weekend is the deadline for your RC submitting that. So if you haven't heard about it and you're interested in it, then please talk to your CO. Now, maybe they've already spoke to someone, but please just check anyway. I'd much rather you check. What does the job entail? So twofold. One, you are a champion for the awards. So it's about working with your CO and your chapters team just to emphasize what all the different categories are and how your chapter will work out putting their nominations forward and pushing out for the region-wide awards that are available as well. So what happens is we have a whole raft of categories. Each chapter then nominates someone within their chapter. So let's take Officer of the Year. This is for anyone who's has an SFI rank of ensign up to captain. You as a chapter will decide who your Officer of the Year is. Then that person then becomes your chapter's nomination to the regional awards. So we should end up with 13 nominees for Officer of the Year. I'm being positive about it. When that all comes in, then the team will you'll vote on it. But what Marie does, a fantastic job, all of our awards chiefs done this. They will anonymise the nomination.
Nomination.
So I said comes in. So you as the award team will get to vote. You'll get all the bits from all the different nominations for Officer of the Year. And people have said it does work. I know. I was awards chief in the dark and distant past. You're then picking people based on the evidence, not on the name. So it seems to work really well. We go through that for all the different categories. These will then be announced, I believe, at the summit in May. And then those winners then go on in the relevant categories, go on to be the region's nominees for the fleet events. So in theory, if we have someone in Region 20 who wins Officer of the Year for 2024 at fleet level, that person will also be Region 20 Officer of the Year and their chapter's Officer of the Year. So this person ends up winning
and
3
it happened.
times. Yeah, it's happened
2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Pip Slack.
Pip Slack, yeah, was Officer of the Year. We've won something every year over the last 8 years. Some years we've done really well. So that's it. So that's how you can get involved. So please, if you're interested in that, please do talk to your CO ASAP and say, I'd be interested. It's a fantastic way to get involved. And everyone, I think, who's done it has said that they've enjoyed doing it. Segues. Oh, and also as part of it, not those awards, not the regional awards as such, but by the start of the month, I will be issuing some awards for the chapters. So you may be aware, you may not, because this is, again, the business stuff that we try and keep out of the way. Your chapter has to submit an MSR, a monthly status report. So your CO or XO, between them, your command team work out who's going to submit it. They submit a report that comes into me as the RC and the regional team and fleet ops about what the chapter's done over the past month. Highs, lows, any problems, focus mainly on all the good stuff that's happened, who's been doing stuff, who's worked out, who's gone above and beyond. There's a window each month between the 1st and the 5th of each month to get those in on time. And so Resurrection, we have done it before, but I'm doing it again because it's my last time to do it. Be issuing awards for any chapter that hit all 12 months in 2024 by reporting on time. So those will be done and issued at the weekend, because then it completes all the cycle and gives me time just to clarify everything. But yeah, so they'll be coming out soon, and that will then sort of officially kick off awards season in Region 20, because then straight after that we'll start with the regional awards we've just discussed about. And segueing nicely in, it goes on to the fact that we have Summit. Oh, there it is. I was trying to get it.
Oh, so, fancy.
Yeah, it runs in ticker. You can ticker across the bottom there. Summit, I mentioned it before about, I think it's one of the great things about what keeps people enthused is meeting in person. It's fantastic. Great that we've got some online stuff, but nothing beats physically actually meeting people in person. I've been really lucky. Whoa, I might have to take that off. That seems to have gone. That seemed to make everything go really slow on my screen then, so I'll take it off. And you can't click on it anyway. Doesn't work so well for that. Nothing beats being able to meet people in person. I've been lucky to be able to go to a couple of ICs, a couple of international conferences, and they're really good. Really good. So please come along. That was the address there. We'll put links back up in 10 forward. Tomorrow, at some point, there will be a bulletin out via MailChimp, so where we normally send the runabout from or whatever, which will have a load of all the links, bits and pieces that pushes through. Go down. But one of the things that we discussed, Philip, who is VRC currently leads on the team, and I and Clive as the RC, who will be RC at the summit, met with the organising team to go through some bits, and we were looking at not problems, but there are people see, are people aware of exactly how they can get there? And so one of the things you'll be getting that come out tomorrow will be some really great information about how you can get to Summit. And what that graphic just shows you there, and this is based roughly on where we have chapters. That's why these ones have been picked. But that's the airports that fly directly to Edinburgh. Okay. Now, it's not your only, obviously air travel is not your only choice, but it highlights that there are options there, lots of options there. There are other links on the main one that comes through. Excuse me. There are other links about, train stations that are best to go to, how you can get there by car and bits and pieces. So loads of information will come out there, as well as all the main information. So, and the reason we're sending it out tomorrow is just a reminder that at the end of this week, on 31st of January, the early bird registration closes. So it's a chance to get your registration in and save a little bit of money. Now, I must emphasise that to qualify for early bird registration, all you need to have paid by the end of this week is your deposit, which is £30. You then have from then until April to pay the rest of it however you want. You could pay £5 a week if you wanted to. Don't quite think that would be enough, but you get the impression. You don't have to pay it all now. You don't have to pay it all in April. You can pay a little bit as and when you want to, as long as you paid everything by the deadline in April.
Yep, and we still have the we still have the early bird registration till the end of the month. So it was originally earlier, now doing it till the 31st. So
that's great. So that's the travel stuff. If you'd like to come, you think, well, the hotel's good, but it's quite expensive. Contact the Summit organisers and say, I'd really be interested if anyone would like to room share. I'd like to buddy up with someone, and then they'll look at pairing you up with someone else that would be happy to come and do that. Look at all around on Facebook, on Discord, on the website. There's information on all of those bits about Summit. So go straight onto the website, 20thfleet.org.uk. There's a link right at the top for Summit 2025. That then takes you to a page. You've got loads of links there. There's a dedicated Facebook group. There's a dedicated Discord channel on the regional server. Loads of places where you can go in and ask about Summit. Please ask. Don't just think, oh, I don't want to sound daft. Probably everyone knows what all that is. Well, no, don't worry. Just ask the question, and people will come back and ask you. I've already said, one of the things I think you really get from going is the chance to meet the people in person, and ironically, because technically I could say, not my bag anymore, but during 2020 I started issuing these regional coordinators challenge coin. Now if anyone's a big thing in the military, challenge coins, the usual way that it happens is that if you're at an event with people and there are challenge coins, if someone puts a challenge coin down on the bar, if you then can't produce your challenge coin, you're liable to buy drinks for everyone else that could. I flipped it with mine, and what I said was, if I was at an event with someone, an SFI or a Trek event, and they produced one of my challenge coins, I would buy them a drink. Said that, so I started doing it back in 2020, and we've not had any regional events that I've been able to get to since then.
You've been saving up, huh?
Yeah. However, I will be at the Summit for the Saturday. I can't get up on the Friday because of work, but I'll be there all day on the Saturday, and I will be delighted to honour my challenge coins at the Summit. So if you've got one and you're going, please bring it with you, because I will happily buy you a drink there. Now, whether other things as well. So you might, if you haven't got a challenge coin, you probably won't get one, but there will be a goodie bag for everyone that turns up. There's going to be an auction, so there's some chance to pick up some that extra bit of Trek memorabilia that you didn't know you absolutely positively needed.
Yes,
But
if
you
you
will
come
do
to
it
Summit, bring an
yeah,
extra bag because
yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna be.
Taking stuff home with you. Yeah, it really is just the it's the people experiences though that I'm most looking forward to. Seeing people I've not met for quite a while, meeting some people I've again not met physically. Spent a lot of time chatting with them online, but haven't actually met them physically. So it's a good opportunity. So please, really do. If you're umming and ahhing about it, I would say go for it. Absolutely go for it. To come to the summit. It will be a fantastic weekend. It really will, and I hope it will then kickstart another wave of regular Region 20 summits because they were really building up. We had some great fun. We've had the last time in Edinburgh, we had the then Ron Coleman, who was then Fleet Chief of Operations. He's now RC for Region 4. Ron and Jennifer, his wife, came over. Lovely to catch up with them again when I saw them at IC last year in Atlanta. And in 2019 at Windsor, we had the then Commander Starfleet, Dan Toole, come along. And the great thing was he came along on a Friday night when we had our President's Supper, and did promotions and stuff. So there were quite a few people who got promotions from the Commander Starfleet as he was at the time. So it's stuff like that you won't get unless you're at Summit. I know that the team are looking in very much to stream some stuff as much as they can and to add some other bits in. There's some fantastic updates from our auxiliaries on the Saturday morning. It's going to be a great weekend. They always are. It's a great weekend, and as much of it is the fun chatting in between the main events as you were. It's all those chatting and the connections and the laughs and the bits. And you remember this and that thing that happened. So please do come. If you can, please do come. It will be a great weekend. And I'd love to see as many people as possible. I'm looking forward to catching up with some old friends, looking forward to making some new friends. Because although I've chatted with lots of people online, I've done this for 5 years now. 2020 we started doing this. To actually meet people in person will be the best way to finish everything off.
And then I do have to ask you, Rich, how many uniforms are you packing?
Only 2 because I've got a weight limit. I'm flying up, so I've got a weight limit.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Now, Rich, I mean, I think you maybe have to give this warning for people who may want to rightly honor you. Rich has to fly back, so don't log him down with stuff.
Yeah. If it does, bless you, if it does happen, I will probably arrange with Scott for him to take it for me, and then I'll arrange to pay to have it posted back down to me. But yeah, I do have I'm flying up with EasyJet, and I have my in-cabin bag allowance, and that's it. So it'll be good. No, I'm really am looking forward to it. For me, it'll be a lovely way to finish off as RC, albeit slightly, a month or 2 out. It'll be a lovely way to finish off with at an R20 summit, which will always be good fun. Always good fun. Cool. I think that's about us, isn't it, Mr. Gilfus? Thank you very much for all your support tonight, for taking the lead on asking all the questions and stuff. I've said this is the penultimate one, so that does mean that there is one more. I don't know when it will be yet. In the past, but it's been great. Again, thank you very much, Philip, for your support here. I'm not entirely sure this new thing's going to work. They've added this thing of you can tell it what you want it as your outro video, but I'm not. It does have it there. There you go. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Anyway, it's been lovely to catch up. Lovely to see all the comments. We get them on the right-hand side of the screen, so that's why we keep looking over that way. It's been lovely to reminisce with people. Please do if you were on the fence about something, then fall down on the side of I'm coming. It would be lovely to see you. Get yourself registered before the end of the week so you get the early bird discount. And we'll see you. I will see you online, possibly Philip, possibly some other people, whoever I can cajole to do it. I did far too many of these just talking to myself. Did them solo and then just comment on bits, but always been good. And we will see you on the next one. Thank you all. Keep safe. Bye for now.
Cheers.
I'm going to sleep this off. Please let me know if there's some other way we can screw up tonight. I'm going to sleep this off. Please let me know if there's some other way we can screw up tonight.